Todd Helton and the Rockies continue their recent dominance of the Reds with a win here last night. But tonight, Joey Votto and company look to begin another win streak as the Reds try to add to their lead in the NL Central. And we welcome you along the banks of the Ohio to downtown Cincinnati and Great American Ballpark. It's baseball night in America on Fox. The Rockies in town to take on the Reds. And a pleasant Memorial Day weekend to you alongside Mitch Williams. I'm Tom Brenneman. It was 3 days ago. The Reds leapfrogged St. Louis and sit atop the National League Central Division. Mitch, are you surprised the Reds are a first-place team?
No, I'm really not, Tommy. I look at this team, and top to bottom, I really liked them in spring until Madsen got hurt. They fixed that closer problem with Chapman, so I like them.
And you look at their offense, they really haven't hit yet.
No, they haven't hit at all with runners in scoring position. If I'm Dusty Baker, I'm looking at that going, I've got a really good pitching staff to be where we're at, and we haven't hit yet.
Meanwhile, for Colorado, their starter in this one, Jamie Guthrie, his overall numbers don't look very good, but on the road outside of Denver, his ERA is under 2.
Well, I think Jamie Guthrie on the road has a tendency to be more aggressive and attack hitters, where the stadium in Colorado has a tendency to make you kind of nibble. On the road, I look for him tonight to be aggressive and go after this lineup.
He'll be opposed by the young right-hander of the Reds, Mike Leake. Joey Votto and company had a 6-game win streak come to an end here last night. You go back to mid-April, the Reds have the best record in all the National League. Colorado slowed them down last night. What about tonight? First pitch next on Fox. Night on this Memorial Day weekend in Cincinnati. Temperature right now close to 90 degrees and no rain in the forecast. That's the good news. Starting lineup tonight for the Rockies under manager Jim Tracy, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Marco Scudero, Tyler Colvin, and Carlos Gonzalez at the top. Troy Tulowitzki, Todd Helton, Michael Kadire in the middle. Jordan Pacheco, the third baseman. They just brought up Will Nieves to catch when Ramon Hernandez went on the DL yesterday. And Jeremy Guthrie is on the mound. Our opening pitch from Cincinnati brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Big crowd on hand for this 7:15 Eastern Time start, and Mike Leake set to go against Marco Studero at strike one. And this one is underway. Luke had a terrible month of April, and he's coming on strong here in the month of May. Leake coming off his best outing of his season, in fact, 5 days ago, when 8 innings, allowed 3 hits, and gave up 1 run over Atlanta.
And hit a bomb.
1-1 to Studero. In the air, left center field. The ball travels very well in this ballpark, and that will be off the wall. Studero making a turn, and he will slide into third safely with a leadoff triple. Looking right into the sun was Chris Heisey, going back up against the wall in left field, and you see his sunglasses are still sitting on the top of his cap.
And that's what I was going to point out. Mike Leake, he got aggressive, got ahead of him, hung a breaking ball, and I agree with you, Tommy. Those sunglasses don't do much good if they're on top of your hat.
And I tell you what, you watch baseball, 5-7 days a week, every now and again, just check in. You'll see that happen 2 or 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and to me, if you're going to wear them out there, wear them. They obviously help. They could have helped on that play.
Ball one to Tyler Colvin, the former Chicago Cub, who had an outstanding year 2 years ago when he clubbed over 20 home runs. And then last year, the wheels fell off. Colorado took a flyer. They picked him up in the Ian Stewart deal, and he's playing his way into the lineup.
Well, this is a kid that I think has a lot of talent and went through some struggles and was unable to make the adjustment last year. And everybody's going to struggle at this level at some point in time. It's how long do you let those struggles take over your game?
Saw those numbers for Colvin. One of the reasons he's in the lineup. 4 hits and 14 at bats against Mike Leake, and all 4 of his hits home runs.
Well, one thing Mike Leake's got to do right here is understand the guy on third is probably going to score. Be willing to surrender that run and get the hitter. You can't let that runner on third distract you from what you're trying to get done.
3 balls and a strike on Colvin. And it's into left field, a base hit, so a triple and a single. And just like that, the Rockies, who came into this series 11 games under 500, but apparently they feel very comfortable playing the Reds because they have won 19 of the last 24 against them.
Well, the scouting report on Mike Leake, what he's got to do, stick to the game plan he's used the last couple of times out. Attack the hitter. He has to command his secondary pitches, and with runners in scoring position, he has to make quality pitches.
So now Carlos Gonzalez. 2 years ago was a 3-horse race for the National League's most valuable player. Carlos Gonzalez, along with Albert Pujols and the Reds' Joey Votto. Of course, Votto won the award. Gonzalez showed up heavy to spring training last year, and by the time he overcame some early injuries, wound up knocking in nearly 100, but not nearly the player he was the season before. Is in very good shape this year, and he's hitting on all strides right now. Double play ball here. Phillips, Cozart, they turn. Take a look at the defensive alignment for unquestionably the best defensive team in the National League, the Reds. Brought to you by Scott's. Miguel Cairo getting to start at third base ever since they lost Scott Rowland. It's been Todd Frazier or Cairo down at third. And the rookie Devin Mesoraco behind the plate, and the undisputed best defender at the second base position is that man right there, Brandon Phillips.
And for any of you people at home that think that was an easy play for Brandon Phillips, that ball eats 99% of the second baseman up in this league, but Brandon's hands are far and away the best in the league.
Boy, Tulowitzki, 280 batters, 6 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Tulowitzki's had a rough start to this year. You get around the Colorado people, Mitch, and they feel like he's really trying to carry the weight of this entire franchise on his shoulders. They go back to spring training, and Todd Helton pulled him aside. They had a lengthy chat and said, hey, look, this team's your team now.
Yeah. And that's the thing Tulo has to understand. He doesn't have to do more. He just has to be himself. His abilities are off the chart, offensively, defensively. And I think anytime you get handed that leadership role and try and do more than you're capable of doing, you're going to struggle.
Got to look at manager Jim Tracy, beginning his 3rd full year as manager of these Rockies. He grew up just north of Cincinnati. Saw his mom before the game today. He grew up in the same hometown as Walter Alston, the legendary Dodger manager. That one's dribbled foul, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. And of course, Jim used to be the manager of the Dodgers.
Well, he took over this team from Clint Hurdle, and I mean, it was like a switch was flipped 2 or 3 years ago, and the Rockies went on an unbelievable run. But right now, what Mike Leake has got to do, you see that 3-2 count? He has got to stay out of these counts. 2-0, 3-1. He's got to stay ahead of these hitters to make them defensive. He is not a power pitcher.
And that one dribbles into center field, a base hit by Tulowitzki. 4 batters, 3 hits.
And he actually got done right there what he wanted. He wanted the ball hit on the ground, and that's baseball. Baseball is a game of inches. If that ball's 6-7 inches to the left, it's an out. So Mike Leake is doing what he should be doing. Ball ain't going at people right now. Got a nice slider down. If you're going to pitch in this ballpark, you better be able to get the ball down in the zone.
Now Todd Helton, he knocked in 3 runs in a Colorado win here last night, including a 2-run home run to get him on the board in the 2nd inning against Red starter and loser Johnny Cueto. Many of you know the story on Leake. He was the Reds' #1 pick, the 8th overall in June of 2009, and became the 21st player since the draft began all the way back in the mid-1960s to play in the major leagues without appearing in a single minor league game.
And as a pitcher, that is not something that is easy to do. Believe me.
2-1 to help.
And he's making good pitches right here to Todd Helton. He's trying to stay in on him. He does not want Helton to be able to get extended. We've seen cutters. You see this ball cut right there? That's a good pitch.
That's on the inside corner. That's a good pitch.
Yeah, that's the same pitch basically. 3 inches in difference. That's all that is. You look at this ball, it's going to start in the middle of the plate and just cut right over the inner third. Outstanding pitch right there. Now, if I'm Helton, I'm sitting on something in, thinking he's going to keep coming back in. They're going to go away. Now Leake has a multitude of options right here. He can go at him again with a cutter. He can go at him with a changeup. If it's me, I'm going at him with a changeup. Try and get him out on his front foot.
3-2, runner goes, and it's swung on and fouled back out of play through the fastball.
And with that pitch, he changed Helton's eyes. That ball's up. If you live down, 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 you're going to get hit. You have got to change a hitter's eye line over the course of an at-bat.
Crowd trying to get behind Leake to end this bumpy 1st inning, and it's not going to come to an end. That one is shot into left field. So Colorado bringing their hitting shoes from Denver into Cincinnati tonight. Already 4 hits, and that's 1 more hit than Leake allowed in 8 innings his last start against Atlanta.
And we're going to look at this pitch. It's not a bad pitch. He just ran a little bit back over the plate. And Todd Helton's a veteran hitter. He is going to go where the ball is pitched. A lot of young guys will get extended and roll over on that ball rather than shooting it into left field.
Of course, Helton, he has been the man in Colorado going back to when he arrived in the big leagues out of the University of Tennessee in 1997. Their leader in every category, and Certainly many believe he's a future Hall of Famer.
Well, you look at the number of doubles this man has put up over the course of his career, his longevity, tremendous first baseman, and now Leake has put himself in a situation that I talked to in the scouting report. You have got to make a pitch in this at bat to limit the damage to 1 run.
And the man he's going to go after is Michael Kadire, signed a 3-year deal after leaving Minnesota during the offseason. Among all players in the major leagues who changed teams during this winter, only Carlos Beltran has knocked in more runs than Kadire's 27.
Well, and Kadire changed leagues too, so it's not just a team change, it's a league change.
So the damage limited to the 1 run despite allowing 4 hits. But Colorado in front for the Reds coming up. And the Red starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to live Ma. Zach Cozart, the rookie shortstop, followed by Drew Stubbs and Joey Votto. Brandon Phillips batting in the cleanup spot with Scott Rowland injured, Jay Bruce in right, Chris Heisey in left. Ladder third to Miguel Cairo, rookie Devin Mesoraco, and right-hander Mike Leake. And they're facing Jeremy Guthrie. Came over during the offseason from Baltimore after losing 17 games. So far this year in 6 starts, a 2-2 record.
And you look at those numbers, the thing Jeremy Guthrie has got to do, he's got to trust his fastball. Use his fastball to get ahead of hitters, and then when he does get ahead, find a pitch to put him away. He's only struck out 13 guys in 35 innings. And then the last thing, get the ball into the hands of the closer, Betancourt. They need length out of their starters in Colorado.
Ball 1 to Zach Cozart. Very talented first-year shortstop of the Reds, a .250 batter, 5 home runs, 11 doubles, and 2 triples for Cozart. I know, Mitch, you were talking before the ball game. You are very impressed with this young Red shortstop.
Yeah, I really like him. I think they're on to something. They really haven't had a steady shortstop here in Cincinnati since Barry Larkin, and I think this kid is the kid that's going to be that guy.
One and 2 the count. We brought up earlier Guthrie. The numbers are ugly at home. I mean, his ERA pitching at Coors Field is almost 10 runs per 9 innings. But you get him out of there in 3 road starts. He's pitched 19 in the 3rd innings and only allowed 4 runs.
Yeah, and you look at that, and I talked with manager Jim Tracy, and he doesn't think it's the ballpark that's getting in his head. but it's hard to look at those numbers and not feel that way. And this is what I'm talking about putting hitters away, Tom. He had him 1-2, and now it's a 3-2 count. He has not elevated a fastball one time. The art of elevating a fastball in the middle of the plate ahead in the count is almost lost in the game anymore.
Roller down to third, and Pacheco fields and throws it into the stand. Now Pacheco, originally a second baseman at the University of New Mexico, was a catcher the last 3 years in the Rockies organization, and now they put him over at third base, and you got to live with this sometimes.
Well, and you look at his footwork, everything there was halfway decent right up to the point where he let go of the ball. It's a work in progress. A new position takes time. You watch his footwork. He didn't really get a crow hop in right there, and he had time. He had time to get that extra crow hop in there, get his feet under him, and make a solid throw.
Cruz Tubbs shows bunt on the first pitch, and now taking a long look down at the third base coach, Mark Berry. Colorado with a 1-0 lead, and the Reds trying to answer here in the last of the first inning. No sign of a bunt there, and that's a strike.
And that breaking ball right there from Guthrie, I watch him throw, and he comes across as a guy that is guiding the baseball rather than throwing the baseball. He's kind of getting under his pitches.
Straight up into the air, and this will clearly not advance a runner second to third, and Pacheco able to hang with it, and that's a first out here in the inning. Let's take a look at Colorado defensively. Brought to you by Scott's, a third worst fielding team in the National League. Gonzalez, Colvin, Kadair, left, center, and right. Tulowitzki and Studerow up the middle. Pacheco and Helton on the corners, with Will Nieves playing in his first game since being brought up from the minor leagues last night.
And you saw right there, Guthrie elevated his fastball, got Stubbs to go after it, and got the pop up.
Well, now Joey Votto, 2 years ago, the National League's most valuable player. The Reds, as you know, inked him to a 10-year contract.
Well, if I'm Jeremy Guthrie right now, I am going to be extremely careful with Votto. I'm not going to let this guy be the guy that hits a 2-run homer off me. You expand the zone as a pitcher and hope he chases. If he doesn't chase, then you got Brandon Phillips, a right-hander, to see if you can get him to hit into a ground ball double play. But messing around with Votto in this situation is dangerous.
Votto had been mired in a mini slump. They're all mini for guys at his level, up until he had a 4-hit game here last night. But really, to illustrate something we touched upon briefly, and we'll get more into it as the game goes on, this Reds team, Votto included, has really not hit at all, especially when they get runners in scoring position like they have right now.
Yeah, and that's the sad part. You look at it, the numbers are unbelievable. They're 29th in Major League Baseball hitting with runners in scoring position.
Now, to give you an idea of how bad it really is outside of one guy, Votto is batting .353 with runners in scoring position. .353. The team batting average, there you have it, 197. So imagine how bad it is for everybody else when you got .353 waiting on the other side.
Now, where he should go right now, Guthrie should be looking right up here, right in this area.
Oh, the appeal, and down to third, Paul Emmel rings him up.
Or he could go down and in.
Oh, you be the judge.
No, he did not go. The way that call is supposed to be made is, does the bat get out in front of the plate? And clearly on that check swing right there, it did not.
But now the second baseman, Brandon Phillips. Like Votto, he was locked up on a long-term deal. They came on the heels of one another. In the first couple of weeks of this 2012 regular season, Phillips began the year as their leadoff hitter. He was so good in that role last year. But when Scott Rowland got hurt, they were forced to move Cozart into the leadoff spot and Phillips into the cleanup spot.
And this is a situation right now where you have the worst pitching team with runners in scoring position and 2 outs facing the worst hitting team with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So who's going to win this one?
Well, it was Colorado that got the job done last night. The Reds had multiple chances, including this guy right here, Brandon Phillips, in the ball game last night. Colorado winning the series opener by a count of 6-3.
Well, the thing, Brandon, wow. I'd like to see the replay on that one because that really didn't look like he went. But yeah, he did go. Umpire was right on that one.
Jerry Meals on the appeal that time at first base after Emmel rung up Votto with 2 strikes just a moment ago.
And Brandon's got to understand right now he can keyhole Guthrie because he knows he's got Bruce on deck.
That one just ate up Pacheco, and this will tie the game. Scoring is Cozart, and Phillips slides in with a double. 1-1.
And you look at that, I understand what Guthrie's doing. You got to go after Phillips because you got Jay Bruce, that a powerful left-hander sitting on deck.
Well, it is a slumping left-handed batter right now. Jay Bruce, you look at all the players in Major League Baseball, 26 years young or younger. He has more home runs than any of them, 100. And when he gets hot, I don't know if there's another player in the game that can be hotter. But certainly the one consistent for Bruce has been his streakiness since arriving in the major leagues 3 years ago. Right now, he is mired in the midst of 1 hit in his last 31 at-bats.
That becomes a mental thing. And just not seeing the ball. There's times when hitters go to the plate and the ball looks like a beach ball coming there. And then there's times when you go up there and it looks like they're throwing a ping pong ball to you.
Go ahead, run out there at second. We're in the bottom of the first inning. And it's rolled over foul to even account to Jay Bruce.
And that's really all Jay can do with that pitch right there is pull it foul. Anything on the inner third like that, Jay Bruce is a guy that has to get extended. He's going to pull that ball foul. Now, if Guthrie makes a mistake and leaves that ball over the middle, Jay Bruce can hit it out of any part of the ballpark.
Well, able to smother that ball was Nieves, preventing Phillips from advancing on to third. It's 3-2 on Bruce. Colorado had 4 hits but scored only 1 run. The Reds have taken advantage of an error by Pacheco to tie the game.
Very good job right there by the Nieves, young catcher, to keep that ball in front, keep Phillips from advancing from second to third.
And now the payoff pitch coming to Jay Bruce, and he walked it. First walk of the night by Guthrie, and the inning continues for Chris Heisey, another youngster that came up through the Reds farm system. This is an extremely young Cincinnati team.
They're young, Tom, but they're talented. And when they start putting together veterans with youth, and then these guys start growing up together and playing together, this could be a good team for a long time.
Dusty Baker on the final year of his contract led the Reds to the Central Division Championship 2 years ago. And they were one of the big disappointments in baseball last year. Heisey hit 18 home runs in part-time play for Cincinnati's last season. Dusty Baker already this year eclipsing the 1,500 wins mark. It's interesting to note that when the Colorado Rockies played their first game as a franchise in 1993, it was against the Giants. That one is in the air to left field. Drifting back, Gonzalez. Cincinnati leads 4-1. Gone after hitting the 18 home runs last year.
They obviously wanted to go up right there, but that's not up high enough. That's up in the strike zone. You want to go up out of the strike zone to get him to chase. We look at right here. You see the catch-up setting up here. This is where that pitch needs to be, right in this area here.
Ground ball off the bat of Miguel Cairo. And the Reds take advantage of a throwing error by Jordan Pacheco and cash in for 4. 3 on 1 swing of the bat from Chris Heisey. America, presented by Chevrolet, is sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas, and by MasterCard. Shop and pay your bills online with MasterCard prepaid cards. Big crowd, holiday weekend. Glad to have you with us from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Mike Leake allowed 4 hits and only 1 run in the top of the first. His offense, for the first time in a long time, came up with a pair of big hits with 2 outs in an inning to score 4. And that's where we sit as we begin the second inning. Latter third in the order. Pacheco looks at a strike. Told you about Pacheco earlier, a middle infielder in college at New Mexico. A catcher for 3 years in the Rockies farm system, but they like his bat so much they thought, you know what, we don't want him splitting time behind the plate. We like that bat in the lineup. Thus, the move to third base, and right now riding the tide of a 10-game hitting streak.
And this at-bat, Leake has done a good job of getting ahead, Now you got a defensive hitter at the plate. He can do whatever he wants with it. You got a young hitter at the plate, elevating in the middle of the plate. When I say elevate, I'm talking about middle of the plate. The top of the catcher's mask is a high fastball. The art of walking the ladder has been almost completely lost in this game. And that's a changeup that got in on him. And this is the fourth 3-1 or 3-2 count Leake's been in already.
Well, you saw him shaking his head right there. 3-2 delivery. And a base hit into right field after he was ahead in the count, 0-2. So 11-game hitting streak now for Pacheco. And let's take a look at our 4 keys to the game.
They happened right here in the first inning. 4 keys to the game. Rockies catch the ball. We saw Pacheco throw the ball away. And for the Reds, it's take advantage opportunities, and they did that. They got hits with runners in scoring positions.
Wow.
So far, I'm looking like Nostradamus.
You really are. Of course, everybody at home is saying, oh, wait a minute, why didn't I see that before the first inning?
I didn't produce this show.
Breaking ball in there, a strike. Will Nieves. No, that would be Carol Langley McDermott. So did you just kick her in front of the bus? That's not like you, Mitch. You're normally a gentleman.
Carol is a sweet woman, but she made me look like I just made that stuff up after the first.
Told you Nieves was brought up to the Major League roster prior to last night when the former Red and now current Rocky Ramon Hernandez went on the disabled list. And now playing for his 5th Major League team. San Diego, the Yankees for 3 years, Washington for 3, and Milwaukee the last couple of years.
And again, Leake has got a big lead in the count, 0-2. His pitches, now you got to get him to chase something just off the plate. They can't be 3 feet off the plate. It's got to be something that looks good out of his hand. Going back inside. That's a tow truck.
Those feel good, don't they?
I was lucky enough. I only got 16 at bats, and I never fouled one off my foot. So.
Yeah, but you know what I never knew about you until we were talking tonight, and you brought up earlier that Mike Leake in his last start hit a home run along with pitching 8 great innings.
Yeah.
That your first Major League hit was a home run.
Yeah, it was. In my 5th Major League at bat, I got a fastball from a closer named Don Ossie, and the best part about that was that the walk back to the dugout with 2 Hall of Famers. I drove in Ryan Sandberg and Andre Dawson.
Wow. Of course, Ryan Sandberg is managing at AAA for the Philadelphia Phillies organization. It's Grant Wilkes-Barre, right? And Andre Dawson has been very involved since day 1 with the Miami Marlins.
Yeah. Well, Hawk is a Miami resident. Lives down there. They just can't. There's some guys you can't get away from the game of baseball. And I honestly believe that when Charlie Manuel is done managing the Phillies, that Ryan Sandberg will be the next manager.
Do you really?
I really do.
One ball and 2 strikes on Nieves. Leadoff man aboard, and a breaking ball is swung on and missed. First strikeout of the night.
That's the first curveball we've seen from Leake. And it comes at a good time. He's throwing them nothing but fastballs, cutters, and changeups. Good time to bust out that curveball.
Well, Jeremy Guthrie is no Mitch Williams swinging at bat. Hadn't had a hit so far this year in 11 trips, 2 for 34 in his career. What were you out of 16 at bats?
I was 3 for 16. I believe I was a triple shy of the cycle in my career. But I did have 4 RBIs.
Nice. Guthrie does have a pair of sacrifices so far this year.
And you notice he's only struck out 4 times. So he's putting the ball in play. It can't be very violent when he's putting it in play, I guess.
Well, he just plain missed that one. He looked like he had the bat up until the very last second in a pretty good bunting position. And now behind 0-2, and I would figure out if they're going to keep the bunt on.
I would assume they're still going to, and if I'm Leake, I'm throwing a high fastball here. Hopefully get him to foul it off or pop it up.
So Rich Dowie, their third base coach, and he threw him a breaking ball, and he fouls it off, and that's strike 3. Well, we'd like to invite you to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for an interactive all-access pass to MLB on Fox this summer. Get a behind-the-scenes look at the broadcast as well as up-to-date news from around the league. Twitter at MLB on Fox, and on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Fox Sports. Facebook's been in the news a time or two during this last week or so. You a big buyer, were you, Mitch, on that IPO?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about, buddy.
Okay, good enough.
You're talking to a hillbilly.
Well, I know a lot of hillbillies that have a lot of money.
Well, yeah, because we don't know what to spend it on all those electronics and stuff. Leake this inning, 3 straight 0-2 counts. This is how Mike Leake has got to pitch. He can't overpower you. He's got to get ahead of you and make the hitter chase his pitch. 7 of the 9 first pitch strikes for him so far, so he's doing a good job of getting ahead.
Well, now Marco Scutaro, he tripled off the left center field wall and scored the only Rockies run. And there's strike 1, so make it 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, yeah. If you don't possess a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, you have to get ahead. Because if you get forced into the strike zone at 89 to 92, that's just hitting speed.
Scutaro would probably like to have that one back.
This is 4th straight 0-2 count.
Leake is an extremely mature young man despite his youth. Told you earlier, he went from Arizona State University right into the major leagues. They had to keep an eye on his innings in each of the last 2 years. He's just an outstanding athlete. Can hit, fields his position, can run.
He's got really quick feet, and I'm curious as to how close to a balk that is. He's getting really close to balking on that pickoff move.
Many that follow the Reds, most notably the manager Dusty Baker, were just stunned the way this season began for Leake, how poorly he had pitched. There's a number 5 starter in their rotation.
Oh,
that one got a piece of Leake. It goes to Cozart, and everybody's safe. Where did it get him?
I think right on the thigh. He ain't going to show that hitter it hurt. It's hard to tell, but I think it caught him right in the thigh.
That's Steve Bauman, the assistant trainer for the Reds, and you see already a grin, a smile from Leake as Brian Price, the Cincinnati pitching coach, also comes out. Let's take another look.
Yeah, he caught him right on the right thigh. And thank goodness he's quick, because that could have been a lot worse. The good news is it's his post leg. If it was his landing leg, that could have it over the course of the next few innings. It could stiffen up on him and be a problem. But since it's his post leg, I don't think it should be a problem.
Well, Leake has faced 10 batters in a game. He has given up 6 hits, but only 1 run. And just like you were talking with Dusty Baker before the game today, those guys like Leake who are ground ball pitchers, man, you find a way to get that double play ball, and what a friend indeed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you give up 4 hits in an inning, only give up a run, you got to feel pretty good about yourself.
All right, now Tyler Colvin. He knocked in the only Colorado run with a single into left field in the opening inning. Rockies a 2-out, 2-on situation, trailing by 3 in inning number 2. 0-1.
And I would expect Leake. This is the first hitter he's fallen behind this inning, and I would expect it because Colvin's got 5 hits off him and 4 of them are homers. So he's going to be a little careful here. Hopefully get Colvin to chase something out of the zone.
A ball and a strike.
And you see right there, he missed his target. Catcher's setting up on the outer third, and that pitch is on the inner third. Watch where the catcher sets up. You see him move out, and watch where the pitch ends up. See it on the inner third, and that's the kind of thing that can't happen. He's got an opportunity to get out of this inning, but that's where you have to make the pitch.
2 on, 2 out. 1 ball and 1 strike on Colvin. And it misses off the inside corner. Well, Leake really struggling here tonight as far as the pitch count is concerned. Already a 46 in the game, and we're in the 2nd inning. Well, you got to believe this is a man he knows he has to come after, because Carlos Gonzalez is standing in the on-deck circle.
Well, he's thrown him everything hard. Everything has been hard to him. Whether it's been, you look here at the pitches, 17 balls, 30 strikes, and we're an inning and 2/3 into this. He's going to have to be a little more economical with his pitches. But this is where I'm going back to that overhand curveball. He's only thrown it once. So bust it out again right here. Keep it down. He can actually bounce it and get him to chase it. But anything hard, Colvin's obviously on.
Mesoraco, for every 5 games, is playing 2 games per week. He is the #1 ranked player in the Reds' entire organization. An organization that is ranked in the top 10 in all of baseball as far as their minor league talent. And they believe it's a matter of time before he'll become their regular guy and a chance to be maybe the best catcher they've had here in a long time.
Well, he impressed me the other night. A young player in a 2-0 count. And what did he do? Sitting on a fastball, up in the zone, got it, drove it out of the park. It was a grand slam, I believe.
First one of his career. Quite a battle here, Leake against Colvin.
Throw him the breaking ball, Mike.
7th pitch in this at bat. And Leake okays a sign with Mesoraco. And now the 2-2 again.
There's the curveball.
They barely got a piece of it.
I thought Mesoraco held on to that ball. Tricked me. Just barely missed hanging on to it. It's a good pitch. It was down. There's some hitters that just own you as a pitcher. I know I was owned.
Two on, 2 out. And again a 2-2 pitch. And a breaking ball misses down and in, so the count is full and the runners get started.
Now if I'm Colvin right now as a hitter, I'm thinking he's going to go back to that cutter. So if I'm Leake, I'm going soft. Change up, curveball, something on the outer third down. They're going in.
3-2 pitch, and it's swung on and fouled back out of play. Quite an at bat here.
Yeah, and they are getting his pitch count up, aren't they, Tommy?
Well, they sure are. It's the 9th pitch coming up in this at bat, and Leake already up over 50 pitches in the game. 51 to be exact.
And these are the at-bats that they call stress at-bats. This is where pitching coaches look at it and go, well, this is a stressful inning. This is why we're not going to send him back out there for the 6th, the 7th.
Well, he got him to roll over a pitch and go to Votto. Waves off Leake, and Leake escapes trouble again. 2 hits, 2 left. Reds lead 4-1. Is sponsored by Bud Light Lime. Summer is calling. There you see the gathering. They have done an extraordinary job here in downtown Cincinnati of doing some wonderful things with this downtown area over the past couple of years. And here's a guy who figures to be calling this home for a long time, Devin Mesoraco. Here's what Mitch was talking about a moment ago. Game on the line. Grand slam as part of that 4-game series sweep to begin this homestand against the Atlanta Braves. First career grand slam for Mesoraco.
So many times you see young hitters that have put themselves in cripple counts, 2-0, 3-1, and will swing at a pitcher's pitch. In that situation, Mesoraco was looking in one zone, got it, and didn't miss it.
Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. That's a hometown of Devin Mesoraco, and yes,
the groundhog.
The groundhog. We asked him, did you go to that every single year? He said, I saw it one time.
Well, I don't know that I'd get up out of bed to go watch it either.
Grounded foul. He said, you have to live there to believe it. He said, it's the quietest place you would ever want to grow up. And then 2 days before, Phil's going to come out and we're going to know if spring's going to, come early or winter's going to hang around. And then all of a sudden after that happens, everybody's gone again.
I don't know what the big deal is. I see them all over the golf courses up in New Jersey.
Well, you're not all that far then from Punxsutawney, are you? Well, you're a little bit away. It's closer to Pittsburgh than Philadelphia.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure where in Pennsylvania that is. I have not made the trek to meet Phil.
I think you ought to look into doing that next spring. 2-2 pitch. And it swung on and fouled away. Reds with a 4-1 lead, batting in the bottom of the 2nd inning. many in this ballpark keeping an eye on that Philadelphia-St. Louis game. Phillies have taken a 1-0 lead over the Cardinals. They're already in the 4th inning. And the Reds have a half-game lead over St. Louis in the Central going into play tonight.
And you just saw Mesoraco go after a fastball up. Now, if he comes up again with a fastball right in that area, that would be a good one. He went down again. Both these pitchers are working deep counts. I don't see either one of them being around for the 7th inning.
Seventh pitch in this at bat to Mesoraco, and he rolls over at foul.
And this speaks to my point about being able to put hitters away. Jeremy Guthrie has had a really hard time of doing that. When you have 13 strikeouts in 35 innings, you don't have a put away pitch.
3-2 again to Mesoraco, and he fooled him badly there. Second strikeout of the night. Let's check in with our buddy Matt Vasgersian for a DirecTV game break.
Tommy, what a finish in Arlington. Toronto had scored 2 in the top of the 13th to take a 7-5 lead, but this is what the great ones do, isn't it? The amazing Josh Hamilton wins it with a 2-run home run walk-off style. His major league leading 20th. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to Tom and Mitch.
Matt, thank you very much. Boy, Josh Hamilton.
Yeah.
When the Reds brought him back after missing 2.5, nearly 3 full years of baseball with all his addiction woes and his off the field issues, and to watch him, hard to believe now, 5.5 years ago in spring training in Sarasota, Florida. And Mitch, I had never seen Josh Hamilton play a minor league game or the short stint with Tampa. After 30 days in spring training, I thought he was the best baseball player I had ever seen in my life, and he hadn't played for 3 years. And Mike Leake rips one down the left field line. That's up against the wall. Talked about what an athlete Leake is. He homered his last start. He doubles his first at bat tonight.
Well, there's certain pitchers that when they take pitchers BP, they're not going through the motions. And you look at this swing. That's a breaking ball to a pitcher, and he keeps his hands back, head still, and drills this ball into the corner.
Leake now has 6 hits and 16 at bats. Runner at second, 1 out for the shortstop, Zach Cozart, and that ball in the air, shallow right center field. Colvin dives, and did he get it? He got it, and tagging up and advancing on to third is Leake. What a play by Tyler Colvin.
Tremendous play by Colvin, but a really, really good base running play by Mike Leake right there. They're probably going to appeal it.
Well, Jim Tracy coming out. I think Gary Darling all but told Troy Tulowitzki, said, look, he tagged up. He did not leave early. Gary Darling is the crew chief tonight.
Well, we're going to watch Leake get off. He sees the balls in the air. He gets back. I think he realizes Colvin's going to have to dive. Oh, yeah, he definitely tagged up. He's on the bag when he's on the ground. That's a really good job of base running by a pitcher right there.
Well, Leake, on the days that he wasn't pitching at Arizona State, was playing shortstop for the Sun Devils, and big guys like Ike Davis playing on his team. So he wasn't the best hitter on the team, but he was one of the best hitters on the team, even when he was in the mound.
Well, some pitchers are just good athletes. There's some that are not. I mean, they say all pitchers are non-athletes, and I disagree with that, because I've seen some really good hitting pitchers.
Little number out in front of the plate, and Guthrie throws out Stubbs to retire the side. When we come back, Rockies will bat trailing 4-1, and Bronson Arroyo will join us from the Cincinnati dugout. He's off to a good start this year. The top half of the third inning, this Cincinnati rotation, I mean, you talk about a young group. You got Matt Latos, 24, Mike Leake, tonight's starter, 25. Homer Bailey and Johnny Cueto both just turned 26 in the last month. But there's one guy that's been around for a while, and that would be Bronson Arroyo. He joins us from the Reds dugout. Bronson, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, guys?
Doing great. Being around all these young guys, and you have really sort of taken, for lack of a better term, Mike Leake under your wing since he came up from Arizona State University and joined the major league club. You look at him a night like tonight, not as efficient, maybe not as sharp as his last game when he was so good against Atlanta, but will you talk to him during the game at all, or do you leave him alone during the game?
Yeah, I usually just leave him alone. I mean, guys, everybody has their own different style and kind of their own preparation and what they like to do in between innings. And once in a while, we'll talk about something significant that might have happened in an inning. But for the most part, your preparation is going to come pregame. And once you get out there, it's got to kind of be on autopilot.
Bronson, I got to ask you, as a guy, I know you take hitting seriously. Do you try and impart that to these young kids? You can help yourself with the bat in your hand?
Well, for Leake, I don't have to because he hit 340 at Arizona State, so I'm trying to learn something from him. But for the rest of the guys, I think, over the years, I mean, I haven't had to say it, but I just think my preparation for the game, over the last 10 years in the weight room and just kind of being consistent, coming out and taking batting practice serious, and guys just kind of feeling that, on a day-to-day basis. I think it's helped this staff probably over the last few years with guys like Johnny Cueto and Homer Bailey to kind of build consistently throughout their whole program, even diet and things like that, just taking it serious to make sure you can stay on the field every day.
Bronson, I think with your long hair and, you play in a band as Carlos Gonzalez has gone on strikes, it's very easy for people to stereotype Bronson Arroyo. But your work ethic, in my 25 years of broadcasting, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody that tries to take better care of themselves than you do. And the interesting thing is how you really started as a really little guy with your dad working out as a kid, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the foundation that I'm built on. My father was was a guy who was in the weight room with all of his friends down in the Keys, and he saw, a young kid that just had an extreme amount of talent compared to most of the other kids out there. So he put me in the weight room and kind of built this regimen, and I've kind of lived the big league life my whole life, as far as taking care of yourself and taking supplements and eating right, and taking care of your body the few days before you would pitch, and all those things. So it was kind of built into me from early on. So it was easy when I got in the rookie league with the Pirates to kind of have not feel like the game was such a grind, because I was so used to doing it on a day-to-day basis my whole childhood.
That's in the air down the left field line. Heisey continues to drift and has room. That ball came back on him a little bit.
Well, Bronson, I got to ask you, because we were making fun of you the other night at the network with the double flap. You look like Kazoo when you go up to the plate. What's with the double flap helmet?
You know what? I always joke and say that just to make sure everybody knows I got a little speed and I can steal a bag every now and again. But no, honestly, it feels more comfortable to me. It's just, I guess from hitting in the minor leagues for such a long time with 2 flaps and all through high school, once I got to the big league level, I put a helmet on, and having that emptiness on the right-hand side, it just felt like I was cockeyed, and I don't know, I just felt like I wasn't being able to concentrate on the pitches as much, so I figured I'd just go double flaps.
Well, why don't you just finish the look and get a chin strap, too?
Yeah, we'll get the face guard, you're right, like I had when I was 8.
Did you really just call him Kazoo?
You might not be old enough to remember Kazoo.
Who, me?
No, I know you are.
I know.
I'm talking about Bronson.
Bronson is, too. I mean, come on, I've been around a little while.
I don't watch enough TV, probably.
That one's taken off the corner outside, 2-1. Bronson, you've had a big bounce back year. You look at your career record. You've won 114 games. You've made 300 starts. But what's been, quickly, I guess, the reason for the big turnaround after the great 2010? You had some health issues last year. Is that the primary difference this year?
Yeah, I'm a little bit stronger. I mean, last year it was a rough start. I got off to 10 pounds down from spring training, and I never could really catch up, and it just made it difficult to try to make it through an entire season, just starting with a base that wasn't where I wanted it to be. And so this year I worked a little extra hard in kind of a different way in the off season than I had in years past. Had to kind of relinquish my own workout program and give it up to someone else and see if I could get my back a little healthy and just try to take a little bit better care of myself health-wise, because last year having mono in spring training and valley fever was just very difficult to kind of get over that hump.
Not to interrupt Bronson. That effort right there, Bronson, by Chris Heisey. What an unbelievable attempt to try and make that catch. And that is the one thing for those of us who have a chance to see this team on a regular basis. Your defense is second to none.
Yeah, the defense has been great this year, and I mean it obviously is one of the big reasons why we have a winning record, because we've made so many plays behind guys. I can't remember a game when we didn't make 2 or 3 spectacular plays that really have saved us runs.
Well, as a pitcher, Bronson, you have to appreciate that effort that Chris Heisey just gave out there, and people don't understand that at home. That kind of stuff does not go unnoticed. We're going to look at a replay of this. This is not diving on grass, people. This is diving on dirt head first into the wall, trying to make a play for your pitcher.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it goes unnoticed, I think, sometimes how hard the position player is playing in and day out with bruises and getting hit by balls at the plate and sliding into walls like that. And I mean, these guys, they come out every day and strap it on and play. And being a starting pitcher, I try to appreciate that, but it's tough because I haven't had to do that in a long time.
Well, Bronson, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us here in the top of the 3rd inning and taking time away from hanging out with the troops. So thanks a bunch.
All right, guys.
Bronson Arroyo made his 300th career start 3 days ago. To put that in perspective, of all the pitchers, and there are over 9,000 of them that have pitched in the major leagues, less than 3% have made 300 or more starts. Another of them will join us later in Jamie Moyer.
Jamie might have made 3,000.
Yeah, he's made more than double the number Arroyo's made.
And that's what's funny. I was a closer and a reliever my whole career, and I pitched in just over 600 games.
Kadire slams it off his foot. So after retiring Gonzalez and Tulowitzki rather easily to begin the inning, it looked like Leake would have a quick time of it. But he walked Helton and now is 2-2 on Michael Kadire, pitching with a 3-run lead in the third inning.
And again, this is where he's got to make a pitch and leave that runner stranded with 2 outs out there and make this 3-run lead stand up for another inning. Michael Kadire is a baseball player. This is a guy that does everything fundamentally right. He's not going to look to try and leave the yard right here. He's going to go with the pitch wherever it's at. Most players that come out of the Minnesota Twins organization fundamentally are as sound as any players in the game.
1-2 goes to 2-2, and now the pitch is fouled away. Of course, so much of that foundation in Minnesota began with Tom Kelly and right on into Ron Gardenhire, and of course it really involves the entire commitment by the organization.
It does. They put a huge amount of importance on their minor league system, on their scouts, their developmental programs, all of it. They don't want to have to go out in free agency and get players.
Cairo plants, and the throw is in the dirt. It gets by Votto, and the runner's going to try and score, and he is out from me to you.
That's a bad decision by the runner right there, Helton. You got to know Votto is the most athletic first baseman in the game of baseball.
Well, you wonder where in the world Todd Helton's going.
Yeah.
Cincinnati bats in the home half of the third inning with a 4-1 lead over Jeremy Guthrie and the Colorado Rockies. Votto struck out his first time up.
Yeah, and Guthrie's only had 3 swinging strikes, and Votto was one of them on the strikeout.
Votto, Canadian born. Second round draft choice of the Reds, came up through their minor league system. And once he took over at first base, they've never looked back.
He does things at first base. Like I said, Mark Teixeira might be the best first baseman in the game. Teixeira may have come up with that throw, But had it gotten by him, he would not have made the play that Joey Votto just made.
That's the one area of his game that he takes such tremendous pride in, the fact that many felt like that was a weak link in his game. Defense. Well, he won the Gold Glove a season ago in the National League. And that ball is stung into right center field. And this will be his National League leading 20th double of the season.
You cannot lead balls out over the middle of the plate to him and expect him not to get smoked.
Let's go back to that play you just referred to, Mitch, for the final out.
Cairo does a good job, gets his feet under and just makes a bad throw. Votto sees it get by. Watch him check to see if the runner's going. Spins, makes a good throw, and now watch Mesoraco. You think Helton has any chance to get into the plate? No. None. That is a large human with that gear on behind the plate. Joey Votto is just a tremendous athlete. What makes him so special to me is his throwing ability. He's very accurate.
And you talk about how athletic he is. He might be the most aggressive first baseman I've ever seen play in my life.
He goes after balls, and the play that's so hard to make, the 1 to 6 to 3 double play, he makes it look simple.
Brandon Phillips got the Reds on the board in the first inning with a 2-out double up the third base line. It tied the game at 1. Defensive swing there, and look out in the stands.
Yeah.
Apparently everybody is all right. Reaction right away. Applause. They do everything they can in these relatively new ballparks to get fans closer to the action. But man, if you're going to sit in one of those open spots, you got to be alive.
Yeah. That dude wasn't looking for that pitch right there. He was looking for a breaking ball, I think.
That dude is his Twitter name, right?
I believe so.
Yes, it is.
I'm not big into Twitter, but I think that's his handle.
0-2 delivery. And a breaking ball away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, we tell the stories all the time whenever we see Brandon Phillips. If there's a more fan-friendly player in baseball today, I don't know who that would be. It's not to say that there isn't somebody, but, you know, and on Twitter, he's one of the most followed players in the game.
Well,
and he's giving away the best prizes. I mean, he'll do things like last season, he'll throw a question out there and say, okay, who can name me what number I wore on my high school football team? And 2 young men, college students, back home for the summer, correctly gave him the answer. Well, the prize for answering that question was he flew both the young men to San Francisco, put them up in the hotel when the Reds were playing the Giants, and gave them tickets to every game.
Well, this is what players ought to be like. You're playing a game for a living. If you can't smile and have fun doing this, there's something wrong. And Brandon's always smiling. I would like to put him and Orlando Hudson in a room and see who came out with their ears bleeding first.
Now one popped up on the right side. That'll be playable for Scudero. 1 out, and right now let's check in again with Matt Vasgersian for a DirecTV game break. Matt.
Tommy, here's a little good news for Reds fans. Switch hitting Shane Victorino batting over 100 points better from the right side this year. So there he is right-handed against Jaime Garcia and drives in the game's only run to date. Phillies trying to make it 3 straight over the suddenly struggling Cardinals. Call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to Tom and Mitch.
Matt, thank you very much. That Cardinal team has really been hit with the injury bug. Lance Berkman going down a little over a week ago. They lost Matt Carpenter, the man who's been replacing him. Oh, and 1 to Jay Bruce. He walked his first time up.
And you see right the standings right there. Cincinnati's holding a half-game lead over St. Louis. And much to my surprise, Houston 3 games out. And everybody thought they would be at the bottom of this division.
That's hooked into right center field, and Jay Bruce, his first hit in his last 15 at bats. And this will score his buddy Votto, and the Reds lead 5-1. Boy, Bruce has struggled so mightily. Only his second hit in his last 33 at bats, and that will indeed put a smile on your face.
And you look at where the catcher wanted the ball down and out, and he got it up and out. Down and out, you got a chance for Jay Bruce to roll over on it, but up and out, it gives him a chance to get extended and drive the ball.
That's 3 hits now for the Reds in this game that have come with a runner in scoring position, and something you thought would be one of the forward keys to the game. Would they be able to turn an entire season trend around where they've hit 197 in those situations?
And Colorado being one of the worst teams in all of baseball at holding runners or getting out of innings with runners in scoring position. And it's held true again tonight.
I mean, you know, you look at some of the numbers. The Reds, when they won 6 games in a row up until last night, they were batting 159 with runners in scoring position, yet still scored 27 runs. Did a lot of that via the home run ball. Tapper down to third. Pacheco not in time. That'll be an infield hit.
And that's a great job of hustling right there by Chris Heisey. A lot of guys will just concede that. Okay, I grounded out to third. But Heisey's busting it out of the box. You see him immediately take off going. And that's the difference. That immediate reaction to taking off right there and not conceding that, okay, I'm going to be out.
Two on, 1 in. Reds lead 5-1. We're only in the 3rd inning. And here's Miguel Cairo, ball 1.
I know Jeremy Guthrie, when he was with Baltimore, was considered the ace of that staff at one time. But watching him here tonight, it just doesn't look like he's long for this game.
That is a double play that will end the inning. And boy, did Guthrie need that. Reds tack on a run and lead 5-1 at the end of 3. sponsored by Roundup brand. Kills weeds to the roots so they don't come back. And by Ford. Go further. Very heart of downtown. Fountain Square in Cincinnati. We were talking about earlier all of the things they have done in this city. In fact, very proud of the fact that Forbes magazine last week listed the top 100 cities in America to live in. And Greater Cincinnati was number 9 on that list. There's a base hit into right field off the bat of Jordan Pacheco. So he's 2 for 2 tonight, having already extended his hitting streak to 11 games in a row.
And this is why they want him in that lineup. They're going to deal with his youthful mistakes at third base because of that bat. It goes back to the old adage, drive in more than you let in.
So now Mike Leake pitching again out of the stretch. He's had to do so in every inning of the game. He left 2-1 in the first, 2-1 in the second. Had a runner thrown out at home plate to end the third, and a leadoff double here in the fourth. Now Nieves.
And this is where Mike Leake has to understand that guy at second means nothing. I got to get the hitter. I got a 5-1 lead. I have to make pitches on this hitter.
That ball is blasted into left center field, and this will bring in a Colorado run. So back-to-back doubles in the bottom part of the batting order, and it's a 3-run ball game.
And this is Colorado adjusting to the fact that Mike Leake has thrown so many first pitch strikes. The Rockies are not going up there waiting and letting him get ahead of them. That's just a fastball, middle. Second and third time around the order, you've got to get ahead, but you got to get ahead with different kinds of pitches. Well, I understand now why Jeremy Guthrie's 0 for 11. He doesn't look real good, even comfortable at all, even bunting.
Breaking ball is high. 1-1 to Guthrie.
And we're taught as pitchers from the time we get in this game, into professional baseball in the minor leagues, in bunt situations, you throw high fastballs. And now they're put in a situation where the fact that Leake is such a good athlete, if they bunt Guthrie here, it could be a double play because Leake can move off the mound so well.
There's strike 3 called, and boy, Guthrie for a second time fails to advance a runner. 1 out in the inning. We remind you tomorrow NASCAR on Fox will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. The defending champion Kevin Harvick and points leader Greg Biffle lead the world's best drivers. The Coca-Cola 600 live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. That'll be tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. What a great way to continue your Memorial Day weekend.
And there you see Leake go to the sinker, first pitch, not first strike.
Scudero, 2 out of 2, tripled, scored in the first inning. Had an infield hit in the second. Scudero, a guy who had to, finally earn his way coming up through the minor leagues to reach the major leagues, and he's carved out a nice career for himself. Originally came up with the Mets in 2002, spent 4 years in Oakland, 2 years in Toronto, and the last 2 years in Boston.
Really made a name for himself in Toronto before he went to Boston.
Jam shot fly ball to Heisey. 2 are out.
And his nemesis, Mike Leake's nemesis, is up again with guys on base. Tyler Colvin. So he's got to be smart here.
Well, Colvin came in 4 out of 14 against Leake, and all 4 of the hits home runs. His first time up, he had a base hit to drive in a run in the first inning. And then Leake retired him after an extended at bat, stranding 2 on a ground ball to Votto an inning later.
And Leake has been trying all night to get in there, to get inside on him. He can't get the ball by him. He's managed to foul everything off inside. Again, he goes in there with another cutter. I just think you have to change your patterns. In every at bat tonight, he has gone at Colvin with cutters in.
Well, Dusty Baker chatting with his pitching coach Brian Price. The Reds have action in their bullpen. Rookie J.J. Hoover begins to throw. He came over the week before opening day from the Atlanta Braves in a trade for third baseman Juan Francisco. 2-1 pitch. And that ball is driven into left center field. Another hit. And another Colorado run. So Colvin is second hit at 3 at bats with 2 RBIs. And now all of a sudden it's a 2-run game. And the night could be over very quickly. Dusty Baker telling Devin Mazaraco to go visit Leake. I think Dusty's going to come get him.
Yeah, and that's a shame because, I mean, you get 5 runs handed to you offensively and you can't make it stand up.
Well, the Reds pitching has been so good all year long. But now in back-to-back nights, Colorado knocked around Johnny Cueto last night, and they will knock Mike Leake out of the game in the 4th inning tonight. Rookie J.J. Hoover takes over on the mound for Cincinnati. This Reds bullpen, #1 in the National League in virtually every major category there is. And Hoover has been a welcome surprise joining it. Look at his numbers in his first 10 major league games.
Yeah, and the tilt on that fastball at 94 miles an hour, that's why they put you on a mound. So you're able to generate that downhill and create angles.
Todd Frazier, as part of the double switch, takes over for Miguel Cairo at third, and there's 93 on the outside corner. 0-2 on Carlos Gonzalez.
And now he's got to make a pitch. He's got 4 opportunities to get Cargo to chase a bad pitch. Now that right there, the catcher standing up, bothers me. I never understand. I know the hitter can feel that. I can throw a fastball up without you standing up and showing me where I need to throw it. I know the hitter can feel that. Stay down there. I'll make the pitch up.
Try the breaking ball. Now it's 2-2. Ugly numbers for Mike Leake tonight. 9 hits in 3 2/3 innings.
Yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse run wise. I mean, you scatter 9 hits in 3 2/3 and only give up 3 runs. You're pretty fortunate.
Came back with a fastball again, down and away to Gonzalez. You know, you look at the Reds bullpen, and Mitch, you began to touch on it at the beginning of the telecast. When spring training began, Cincinnati believed it had assembled not the best bullpen in the Central and not the best bullpen in the National League. They thought they had assembled the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. They brought in Sean Marshall, who's been the best left-handed setup pitcher in the National League for 3 years. They signed Ryan Madson to be their new closer from Philadelphia.
And then you got Chapman down there that they wanted to start. I disagree with a lot of different people on these kinds of things. Neftali Feliz, I don't believe should have ever become a starter. I don't believe Chapman should become a starter. I want him to affect as many games as possible, and you're seeing what this kid Chapman now at the end of games is capable of doing. And you're right, this bullpen, Sean Marshall is comfortable in the 8th inning. And now Dusty Baker has that ability to leave him in the 8th inning now where he's comfortable, because Chapman has proven so far that the 9th inning does not intimidate him.
They've had all the injuries in that bullpen, starting with Madsen. He's never thrown a pitch. One swung on and fouled out of play again. Hoover keeps throwing strikes, and Gonzalez keeps fouling it off. Nick Massett, who's been one of the most effective and been one of the most durable right-handed setup men in baseball the last 4 years, has been out all year long. Bill Bray, another left-hander in their bullpen, has been out since the first week of the season.
And then you got Andrusek, who's another one who's got great stuff.
This guy right here has got a chance to be pretty good, Hoover.
Well, that's what an elevated fastball will do for you.
The decades with Jamie Moyer. His major league debut in 1986, he beat Steve Carlton. In the 1990s, established himself as one of the best in the American League with Seattle. On it went to 21 seasons in the next decade. And now here he is. He wears number 50. He's pitched in 50 different major league parks. And his next birthday, he will be 50 years old. Kind enough to join us from the Colorado dugout. He'll start the game here tomorrow. The ageless one. Jamie Moyer, you know, you get a smirk on your face. I said to you, Jamie, it's amazing what you're doing. Do you ever feel like you can't believe you're still going?
Not really. I look at this as my job, and you know, if I choose to, be here or not choose, if I earn that opportunity, I feel like regardless of my age or what I've done in my past, it really doesn't matter. I've still got to go out and compete.
And Jamie, you're a huge testament to young kids about the art of pitching. It's not just about going out there and throwing the ball 100. You watch guys every night that are 95, 96 get beat all over the ballpark, and you go out there with a fastball that you couldn't get a speeding ticket in a school zone with and get big league hitters out.
Well, it's something I've always had to do, and more power to those guys that throw hard. But from what I've seen over the years, those guys, there aren't a whole lot of those guys that last, have long careers.
What are you trying to say, Jane?
Again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's all about pitching. It's all about getting people out, and I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. I know this game has really gone towards the velocity thing, but really think about it. Think about the guys that really pitch, and it's kind of a lost art.
And for all you folks at home, what Jamie was trying to say there is that I was a hard thrower and we were traded for each other 24 years ago.
And that's a long home run by Devin Mesoraco, his second on this Cincinnati Homes team.
He looks to be a promising young catcher here for the Cincinnati Reds for a while.
No, you're not lying about that, Jamie. He's their #1 prospect in the entire organization, and much like yourself, a young man from Pennsylvania. Were you aware that he was from there? I got to believe you did. Right?
I did not know that.
Really?
Whereabouts in Pennsylvania?
Punxsutawney.
Oh yeah.
Jamie, did you ever go to the groundhog thing?
No, I did not. I didn't live that close to it, and I've heard about it many times, but I've never been there.
Jamie, I've heard you say that you think pitching is the ultimate truth or dare. What do you mean by that?
Well, you've got to take what you have, and you've got to try to make quality pitches, and that's what I try to tell some of these younger guys here on our staff. You got to stay within yourself and try to make your quality pitches, but there are times when you have to, whether you're daring yourself or you're daring the hitter that, here I'll back it up with the same pitch, same speed, or, I'm going to, get ahead and behind an account, throw a ball down the middle, but maybe take something off of it. And to me, that's the whole chess match of pitching.
Jamie Moyer kind enough to join us from the Colorado dugout. He'll pitch the series finale here tomorrow. Jamie, you're asked this all the time, but ever since you turned 36 years old, you're now 49, you've had 2 20-win seasons, you've won over 90 games. You look through the history of some of the greatest pitchers of all time, their careers start to decline significantly. Is there 1 or 2 things that you would put your finger on as to why you really have gotten better as you've gotten older, besides just experience?
Yeah, that's the easy answer, is experience. But up until 2 years ago, I think I was able to remain healthy and durable. I think that's really helped me. And I've really spent a lot of time as I've gotten older on rehab. I find rehab in the off season, whether you're hurt or not, I think is very important. And I think you look at guys that come back from surgeries, and the guys that tend to stay around, they're the guys that are working hard, and not just the heavier weights in a weight room, but it's the rehabilitation kind of stuff. It's the arm exercises, it's the tubing exercises, and staying with that, because pitching at this level with these amount of games, it takes a lot out of your arm, and you've got to try to maintain that strength during the course of the season. And I think that's really, really important. Is how do I maintain? And I think that's where we run into deficits as pitchers. We start to lose arm strength. You don't recover as quickly as you get into the season, and now you got to find ways to try to recover.
So, Jamie, what you're saying to the people at home is it's not a 6-month process.
Oh, no.
For you, it's a 11.
It's about 11 and a half months for me.
Right.
And you know what? It should be that way. I mean,
it's how you earn your living.
Exactly. You look at anybody else, any layperson that that goes out and works 40 hours a week. They're working a lot of hours, putting a lot of effort into it, and in a lot of cases they're doing their work even at home. So the way I look at it, you're not going to get anything out of it if you don't put anything into it.
And as you say, the layperson, they don't get 5 months off in the winter.
No. And I think that's where you see some of the character in some of these guys. In the efforts of what they do in the off season. And I think it's become such a competitive thing, because I think I look back 20 years ago, I don't think guys were working out quite as much then as they do now. And the medical field has come a long way. The rehabilitation field has come a long way. There's some specialty companies out there that specialize where athletes can go in their off season and get specialized workouts for them. So all these things I think are positive for sports, and again, it sets a great example here for us as professional athletes, but I think also for that college and high school athlete that's has aspirations to play professionally.
James, we have you in the ballpark who your fastest fastball this year has been 81 miles an hour, and your slowest is 66. And then they have a young fellow over there in the bullpen, and his fastest is 102, and his slowest is 84.
More power to him. There's some days, Mitch, and you probably well know this. You threw hard, but sometimes I dream about just one day having that kind of stuff, and just going out and pitching for one day just to see what that feels like.
You know what, James? I'll tell you this. I've been retired 15 years now, and like I said, we were traded for this December. It'll be 24 years ago, and you're still doing it, and I've been retired for 15 years. So I wish I would have learned the art of pitching.
Well, again, you had electric stuff as a young player. I remember playing against you in the minor leagues. You were trying to throw the ball through a brick wall, but as you got to the big leagues, I think you refined yourself a little bit and learn how to use your velocity and learn how to use your strengths against the hitter's strengths, and you had a nice career.
Jamie, what's the closest you ever came to quit?
Wow, 2006. It was a little bit of a struggle in Seattle, and it was tough losing. And my wife and I had a conversation after a game that I pitched in Anaheim, and the next day I went to the ballpark, and they had no idea I had this conversation with my wife Karen, and I came in the clubhouse and they said, "Hey, would you have any interest in accepting a trade?" And I said, "When and where?" And it was an opportunity. I went to Philadelphia, and the rest is history. This game's all about winning.
Well, you've done a whole pile of that.
Well, it's been fun, and I couldn't have done any of that without the offenses or the defenses behind me, the offenses with me, and the catchers that I've had the good fortune throwing with.
Got to go back to June the 16th, 1986. What do you remember about that day, Jamie? That was your first major league win. You beat Steve Carlton, but anything you remember specifically about that game?
Yeah, it was really my first time at Wrigley Field. It was against my boyhood idol, Steve Carlton, and talk about nervous. I was unbelievably nervous that day, but remember us winning the game, and I think that's the most important thing. But to be able to pitch against your idol was pretty special for me.
Is that story true that when you caught a first pitch that he threw out in the World Series in 2009, that you asked him about throwing that slider of his, and
yes,
you actually started to use it for the first time?
That is very true. Yeah, we had a long conversation. It was one of those conversations that you don't want to end. Steve was very gracious in spending time with me, and And actually Cole got in on it, and I think Cliff Lee got in on the tail end of it as well. And it was just a special time for me. Somebody that I always respected in Steve Carlton as a pitcher. Him giving us that time before he went out to throw out the first pitch. Actually, they went to come get him to throw the pitch, and he said, you guys wait for us. We're having a nice conversation here.
You are 47 years old and you're learning a new pitch.
Hey, if you don't learn in this game, the game is going to pass you by.
Jamie, we can't thank you enough for the time. I know I'm speaking for Mitch, too. We could sit here and talk with you all night long. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, and I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day.
Absolutely. Keep up all the great work. I know that the Reds tomorrow are giving away. I know that the Reds are giving away tickets to a big group that's part of your foundation, and they're going to be coming out to the ball game tomorrow to have a chance to watch you pitch, right?
Yeah, we have a group coming out here tomorrow. It's one of our camp errands. That's we have a network of 40 camps. They're free bereavement camps throughout the country, and a bunch of the campers are going to be out here tomorrow at the game. So hopefully they'll bring us some good luck.
Well, I can tell you the place where they go, Camp Joy. It is an unbelievable place, and if you're ever in town sometime, I'll swing down the hotel, pick you up, drive you up there. You won't believe it.
I'd love to go.
All right, Jamie, thanks for the time.
All right,
thanks, Jim.
All right, take care, Mitch.
Something else, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
You were traded for him over 24 years ago.
It'll be 24 years.
Or 24, over 23.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
I was sitting at a table. We were doing an appearance together. It was just over 3 years ago. And I said, do you realize, Jamie, that we were traded for each other 20 years ago? And he didn't realize it.
Look at that trade. That was a huge deal.
It was.
Rafael Palmeiro, Jamie Moyer, Drew Hall going to the Rangers for Mitch Williams, Paul Kilgus, Curtis Wilkerson, and Steve Wilson. Of course, that group that you came over, a big part the following year of leading the Cubs to the National League, then the National League Eastern Division title.
Yeah, we won it that year in '89. We got traded in December of '88, and then Don Zimmer took us to the NLCS that year in '89.
1-1 Nevada, and of course you had that heartbreaking, that devastating 5-game, and back then it was best of 5, League Championship Series loss to the San Francisco Giants.
Where I saw two of the best hitting displays I've ever seen in my life with Mark Grace and Will Clark. They both hit over 600 in that series.
Well, here we're only at the bottom of the 4th inning. Joey Votto, the batter. Stubbs, an infield hit, leads over at first. We've had a home run in the inning by Devin Mesoraco, and Jeremy Guthrie just keeps on going. Runner goes, throw down to second base. That's a good throw by Nieves, and they cut down Stubbs. So off we go to the 5th after the Mesoraco home run. Reds lead back up to 3. Chevrolet. And we welcome you back to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series, and the Reds lead 6-3 over Colorado. What a play by Zach Kozar.
Wow.
He made an unbelievable play here last night, going to his left. This one to his right.
And you wonder why I like this kid so much, Tommy? Look at this play. That is laid out right there. That's the only chance he's got. That ball is smoked.
Kozar grew up in Tennessee. They brought him up last year. He was batting over 400 through the first month and a half down at AAA Louisville, and the Reds were having a woeful time at the shortstop position with a big league club. He came up and played less than 2 weeks before he had a collision out at second base, turning a double play, and tore up his elbow. Fly ball to left field, and they're quickly 2 away for J.J. Hoover here in the 5th.
And this is exactly what the Reds need right here. They throw a run up on the board in their half of the inning. This is what we call a shutdown inning. Go out there, get 3 outs, and get your offense back in the dugout.
So now Michael Kadaya. Hoover came on to replace Mike Leake, who allowed 9 hits in just 3 2/3 innings. He struck out Carlos Gonzalez with a man aboard to end the 4th. And now trying to make it a 1-2-3 5th inning.
Hoover's fastball has been anywhere from 90 to 94, and I don't know whether he's changing speeds on it on purpose or not, because he doesn't have any sink to it. It's fairly straight, but it does have tilt to it.
Well, this young man is just a baby. I mean, he's pitching in the major leagues for the first time after coming over in that deal from Atlanta. And he walks Kadire with 2 men out.
And this is going to be the thing this young man has to guard against. He does throw firm, but you can see if he's going to start to get wild, it's going to be because of his front side leaking, meaning his upper body blowing open. And that's what happened on the last couple of pitches. He just kind of ran off and left him.
No, you talk blowing open, you're talking about maybe falling off towards the first base side.
Right. His front shoulder coming open and it being all arm rather than his front side pulling his backside through. Okay, now watch his front shoulder here. This is pretty decent here because he, see how that's not bad right there. He stayed behind it. But the pitch before that with his full leg kick, which should be better with a full leg kick, he's kind of blown his front side open. There's 2 things bad that can happen when your front side blows out of there, Tom. 1, you lose velocity. 2, you lose deception because the hitter sees the ball a lot longer.
Pretty good tilt on that breaking ball there.
Yeah, that's really good.
1 man left, middle of the 5th. Cincinnati 6, Colorado 3. Show is sponsored by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country. Big crowd on a warm spring night in downtown Cincinnati. And the Reds with a 6-3 lead over Colorado despite being out hit 9-8. The Reds have 6 extra base hits in the game.
And they've been timely hits, something they haven't done all year long.
Colorado starter Jeremy Guthrie still in there, despite the fact that he's given up the 6 runs and 8 hits. He'll face Votto, Phillips, and Bruce in the Reds' 5th inning.
And manager Jim Tracy alluded to this before the game to us, Tom, when he talked about his starters not giving him length and it messing up the next 3 or 4 days with his bullpen. So I think Guthrie may be out there for the duration. I mean, he's not going to finish the game, but he's going to have to eat up a couple more innings.
You know, Tracy talked about the fact that Colorado was at 12-12 when they had a 2-game series against Atlanta, and he said they were the 2 ugliest pitched games that he has ever managed in his career on back-to-back nights. Both games Colorado got in big leads early in the game, only to watch the leads get away. Terrible starting pitching, nights where his bullpen was off, and that really began this spiral for their team, where they've had a very hard time winning. In fact, since then, they have only won 5 games.
It makes it tough. I mean, you can look at something like that. And,
that ball is killed down the right field line, and Votto has his 2nd hit after a 4-hit night last year. First time this year Votto's had back-to-back multi-hit games.
And shocking, it's a double.
He had 21 of those to lead the league.
You look at how fast Votto's hands are. That ball's inner third, and he gets his hands inside that baseball to get the barrel of the bat to it and keep it fair. A lot of guys will pull that ball foul.
Now Brandon Phillips, 1 out of 2, has knocked in a run with a double. He scored a run and popped up. Driven into right center field. This will fall in a base hit. Votto waited to make sure that ball wouldn't be caught, so he'll advance just 90 feet, and they're on the corners with nobody out. I talked about Votto leading the league this year in doubles, as he did a season ago. Also led the league in walks, and you go all the way back to the turn of the last century. And only 2 other players have ever done that in a season, and Votto's doing it again so far this year.
And on pace to be much bigger numbers than those from last year.
Bob Apodaca, the Colorado pitching coach, out for a visit. Ishmael Rogers getting loose in the bullpen. As you know, Major League Baseball on Fox. We are proud to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of America at Fox Sports, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Now Jay Bruce about it. Bruce had his first hit on this homestand his last time up. He has walked, scored, knocked in a run with a double.
Well, they say hitting is contagious, and you start seeing guys in front of you hitting doubles and gappers. And see, that to me tells me right there with that swing that Jay Bruce just put on that ball, he is not seeing the baseball. And it's a strange thing to try and explain to people at home. What do you mean you're not seeing the ball? The hitters just sometimes go through these streaks where they just do not pick the baseball up.
A double he had his last time up was only his second hit in his last 35 at bats, and that's strike 3 on the inside corner, 1 out.
And that's case in point. He swings at a ball over his head and then takes a ball right down the middle. You look at this pitch. Jay Bruce kills this pitch normally. The catcher set up away. Guthrie missed his spot right down the middle of the plate. I just don't believe Jay Bruce is seeing the ball at all right now. And we look at the pitch before that was up. You look at that ball is neck high.
But a roller, and able to get it is Guthrie. So Heisey trying to surprise everybody by putting down a bunt.
He surprised me. I'm not sure Dusty's real pleased with that.
I don't think he's pleased at all. Now you got a runner at third base with 1 out in the inning, trying to bunt for a hit. You can tell Dusty Baker is like, what in the world is going on there?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a guy that hit a 3-run homer earlier in the game, and you look at Dusty. That's just not smart baseball right there.
So now Mike Costanzo, who was called up from the minor leagues just about a week and a half ago, had his first major league hit at Yankee Stadium over the weekend. At one time, a very high prospect in the Philadelphia Phillies organization. Holy Moses. I think he was ready for that fastball at 93.
Well, that tells me if I'm Jeremy Guthrie and I just threw him a 93-mile-an-hour fastball up and in and he turned on it like that, he's getting something soft away right here. Pinch hitters are geared to hit the fastball. They're not coming up there looking for breaking balls first pitch. They're there to hit the fastball.
Struck him out on the off-speed stuff, and that'll end the inning. So the Reds get a double and a single, and Guthrie able to come away unscathed. Sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And by the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of Major League Baseball. Nighttime upon us here in the Queen City of Cincinnati. And the Reds are going to go into their bullpen. And they'll bring on right-hander Sam LeCure. More on him in a moment. Let's take a look at our Jeep game summary. Chris Heisey, a 3-run home run. The Reds scored 4 in the first inning. And for a change, the Reds have been very good with runners in scoring position. 197 they were batting coming into the game for the year.
Well, it has definitely gone up.
So now Sam LeCure takes over for J.J. Hoover, who works a scoreless inning in a third. LeCure, a Missouri native, pitched collegiately at the University of Texas. The Reds have used him as a spot starter over the last couple of years, but beginning with the second half of last season, LeCure has been used exclusively out of the bullpen. And even though you see the rather high ERA this year, he has really settled in and found a home down there in the Cincinnati pen. 43 games he pitched in a year ago and had a very nice season.
Well, relievers from a year-to-year basis, it can vary so much.
Jay Bruce giving chase. He'll run it down.
And the ERA can be so deceiving because you can go out there one game, give up 5 runs, and you can't get that ERA down for 2 months.
Well, here comes Dexter Fowler. He began the year as a Rockies regular center fielder. See a .232 batting average in the 41 games, 5 home runs and 19 runs batted in. And we were talking with Jim Tracy before the game today, and then we just asked him quite simply, where are you with Fowler right now? He said, look, the last couple of years there wasn't anybody around to really challenge Dexter Fowler for that center field position. He said Tyler Colvin is challenging Fowler for that job, and right now he's just playing better baseball.
When you get in that situation and you're a position player and there really isn't anybody, like Jim Tracy was saying, to cover that kind of ground that they got to cover in center field in Colorado, that can compete with you, you might become a little complacent and thinking, oh, well, this job's mine. There's no one here that can cover the ground I can. Well, now they got a kid in Tyler Colvin that can not only cover the ground, as we saw him make a nice diving play earlier, but can also swing the bat.
You got to remember, Fowler had 37 extra base hits after the All-Star break last year. Those were the 3rd most in the National League.
This guy has been, everybody in the sport has waited for Dexter Fowler to have just a breakout year where he puts everything together.
Remember, they sent him back to the minor leagues to try and right the ship. 3-2 the count. Reds with a 3-run lead. This is generally not the kind of game where Dusty Baker would use J.J. Hoover, Sam LeCure. Talking about having a lead of, say, 4 or 5 runs or less. But tonight, with his starter only lasting 3 2/3 innings, these are very critical innings. Hoover did his job, and now LeCure has retired the first 2 here in the 6th. Take a peek ahead of next Saturday on Baseball Night in America. We'll see these Reds down in Houston, Texas, in a National League Central Division game. Some will see the Yankees and the Tigers. Others will see the Diamondbacks and Padres, Twins, Indians, Cubs, Giants. Baseball Night in America, presented by Budweiser, begins next Saturday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. What do you think about those Yankees so far this year, Mitch Williams? They've had a lot of injuries. This Cincinnati team went in and beat them 2 out of 3 last weekend.
You know what?
They're 3 over. Do you like them hanging in that race all year long?
I think both the National League East and the American League East are the 2 most competitive divisions in all of baseball. I know the National League East, every team in the division is over 500. I think things are a little upside down right now. I don't think they're going to end up in the positions they're in right now.
In the NL East you're talking about? Yeah. Okay. Who do you like to win that thing?
I picked Philly to win it, but if Ryan Howard and Chase Utley don't get back, I honestly believe Washington is going to win that division. They're that good. They're deep in their pitching staff. They have an offense now that, I mean, they've lost Worth, they've lost Ramos, and they still have a potent offense. So people didn't give Washington a whole lot of credit, and from spring training, I went down there and covered them during spring training, and just their attitude. I love their attitude and their honest belief in themselves. As we look at LaFleur, just sit him down right there.
And that is the first perfect inning for either team tonight.
In America, Phillies and Cardinals. Kyle Kendrick had posted a 2.25 ERA in his last 4 starts. He's been terrific tonight, keeping the National League's highest scoring offense in check through 8. About the Angels and Mariners, Albert Pujols hit his 4th in the last 5 games, but that wasn't even the big blow. Alberto Callaspo's grand slam was. It put the Angels up 5-2. It's now 5-3 in the 7th. Angels looking for a season-high 5th straight win. Back to Tom and Mitch.
All right, Matt Vasgersian, thank you very much. Ismael Rogers now takes over on the mound following Jeremy Guthrie, who went 5 innings, allowed 6 runs, only 2 of which were earned. And Mitch, you brought it up earlier about Colorado catching the baseball, and 4 unearned runs in that first inning.
Well, they have struggled defensively this year, and that's something. Tulo with the 8 errors, made 6 all year last year, has 8 this year. Very uncharacteristic of him.
Devin Mesoraco to lead things off. 1 of 2 and a home run to left center field his last time up.
That's a pretty good hack at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right there.
You know, the Reds had a big decision to make during the offseason when they were going out to try and acquire Matt Latos. That one thrown all the way to the screen at 96.
I think that was a cross-up right there.
It's a good thing that didn't hit the catcher right in the mouth.
Yeah, this looked like a cross-up. As you see the catcher go put some white chalk on his fingers. Yeah, he was not expecting a fastball.
Umpire very fortunate as well. That's Scott Berry behind the plate. But most baseball people felt like the Reds had the top 2 catching prospects. Maybe not only in the National League, among National League teams, but among all major league teams. In Mesoraco, a former #1 pick, and Yasmani Grandal, a #1 pick out of Miami of Florida. Well, they had to make a decision. You can't keep both of them. So which one are you going to keep? Grandal wound up being in the trade along with Yonder Alonso and 2 others to get Matt Latos from San Diego. That's one of those trades, Mitch, where if you're going to make it, you're going to pick one guy instead of another. You better be right.
Yeah, you better hope you're right. And so far, I would say they've made a pretty good choice.
That strike 3 call. Boy, this guy throws hard.
Yeah, and I thought he kind of, Mesoraco got a break on the 2-2 pitch. I thought was a strike. So he should have been swinging here because he did get a break on it. Rogers is coming in. He's not coming in trying to trick anybody. He's coming in letting it fly.
Todd Frazier came on defensively, part of a double switch. But J.J. Hoover took over for starter Mike Leake in the 4th inning tonight. You know, you look out in that National League West, and everybody knows the Dodgers and the kind of baseball they've been playing. I mean, they were 30-13 before they've lost their last 2 games. With 15 games over 500. When you look at that division, you know, the Giants lost earlier today. They're 1 game over the 500 mark. And then you have the reigning divisional champion, Arizona Diamondbacks, 600, but already 10.5 back.
Yeah. That division completely baffled me.
Straight up in the air, not a lot of room behind the plate, but enough for Nieves. 2 away. In what way?
Because I honestly didn't think that the Dodgers had enough pitching, and I thought the Diamondbacks were going to repeat. And then you look at the start of Ian Kennedy. He's lost 5 games already, and he only lost 3 last year, 3 or 4. And they lost Hudson. But you look at this division, you got 3 teams in this division double digits back already, and that's not a good position to be in.
But of course, with another added wild card team this year, you know, normally if it was only 1 wild card team, those clubs sitting 10.5 back and 6 games under 500 might be saying, man, we're in a world of trouble here already on Memorial Day.
Right.
But you still have 4 full months left in a season.
That's why I love the wild card. I love the fact that they added it. I'm not wild about the scheduling of it this year.
You mean the first 2 being played at the wild card winner, and then the division champ gets 3 games at home?
Right. I've always considered home field advantage the first 2 games of a series, not the last game of a series. So basically, this year, the team that wins the most games in the league is going to get punished. It's just how, I mean, the TV scheduling and all that was set up. That's how it has to be done. But next year, it'll be back the way it should be.
Swing and a miss, and it's back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. How about that? So we march on to the 7th. Colorado down 3. Baseball Night in America is presented by Chevrolet. A little bit like Mitch Williams getting after it in the old days,
yeah,
right there.
And that's exactly why I stance and don't dance. It's better to look lazy than bad. And he had a really nice tan. Someone should have told him sun's free.
Well, you're tough. You are tough. Man, I knew you when you were a nice guy pitching for the Cubbies.
A bad dancer and looked like he was rolled in flour before we went out there.
Tyler Colvin to lead things off against Sam LeCure on for his second inning of work. Hey, Colvin, well, we were talking about our conversation with Jim Tracy and how impressed he has been with Colvin since coming over in the deal. Mike Leake threw 84 pitches in the game tonight. 19 of the 84 were in the 3 at-bats to Tyler Colvin.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look at some guys at the plate that are what I call, they look hitterish. Tyler Colvin looks hitterish to me. He looks like he has an idea what he wants to do. This is a guy just the opposite of where Jay Bruce is at right now. He is seeing the ball extremely well right now.
You know, Mitch, if you're a Cub fan, you're saying, hey, look, somebody in our organization
is a blockhead.
Well, I don't know if I was going down that road. But you have to be wondering how in the world he can come to Colorado. They feel like it's really been just a couple of minor adjustments from a mechanical standpoint. I mean, you got Rudy Jaramillo that's a hitting coach in Chicago. And, I mean, all of a sudden this guy looks like the player he was in 2010.
Yep. And I just think that there's some organizations that don't allow for a young guy to come up, have success, and then have pitchers adjust to him, and then give that kid a chance to adjust back to the pitchers.
Three and two the count on Tyler Colvin, and LeCure to the plate. And he misses ball 4 to begin the inning.
And you look at that at bat. He didn't offer it anything. He's seeing the ball extremely well. And that's the one thing right now Dusty doesn't want to see. He doesn't want to see any walks.
Well, I would imagine it won't be long. Here you are in a 3-run game. And generally the Reds stack them up from the 7th inning on. Quite honestly, I was stunned when LeCure came out for this 7th inning. Then you're not seeing Logan Ondrusik, then Sean Marshall, and then Chapman to try and nail this 3-run lead into a win. So LeCure is getting a chance to get some big outs through the heart of this Colorado batting order. And here's Carlos Gonzalez. First pitch breaking ball and a dandy.
Yeah, really good to a notorious fastball hitter. The slower the better. That's just a get me over curveball. Now he won't have to. He may not have to throw that pitch again in the at bat. But now it's in the back of Cargo's mind that, okay, he's got that 72-mile-an-hour curveball.
Well, Gonzalez trying to bunt his way on. Wow.
If I'm LeCure, I'm saying thank you.
Philadelphia's beaten St. Louis 4-0. There you get a look at left-hander Sean Marshall. So the Reds, with a win tonight, would have a game-and-a-half lead over the Cardinals in the Central Division. Philadelphia's rolled into St. Louis, and they have now won 3 in a row. There's strike 3 on a fastball. Boy, what a good pitch that was.
And that takes some guts right there. To come inside, look at this ball run right back over the inside corner of the plate. That takes some guts on LeCure's part because Cargo's quick inside. And that's where that first pitch 72-mile-an-hour curveball, you put that in the thought in the back of Cargo's mind, he couldn't pull the trigger on that pitch.
So now Troy Tulowitzki. 1 for 3, singled back in the first inning, double play ball all the way here, and what a job by LaCure on the Cincinnati pen. It doesn't matter who they hand the ball to. This bullpen has been lights out generally every night. Next game presented by Chevrolet is sponsored by Prudential. Prudential, bring your challenges. And by Olympic Maximum Stain and Sealant in one. Across the Ohio River, looking into the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
It doesn't get much prettier than that right there, Tom.
Bottom of the 7th inning, and Rogers comes out for his second inning of work, and why not? Well, he came in throwing gas, striking out 2 of the 3 batters he faced in the 6th. Drew Stubbs takes ball 1. Now, Mitch, when you look at a guy like Rogers, I know you haven't seen him a lot, but you were a guy when you came up, you were throwing 95, and you look at this young man here, and if you were to give him a piece of advice right now, one thing, that young man, if you really want to blossom into a closer one day, what would it be?
If he wants to blossom into a closer one day, every pitch you throw have a purpose. Don't ever just go out there and heave it. Every pitch has got to be for a reason. And I look at this kid's stuff, and he could be a closer. But understanding the closer role and the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings are 2 different mentalities and 2 different ways to approach them.
Joey Votto now the batter. Well, you know, when you were visiting with Dusty Baker today, and you know there are a lot of people around here, and I'm one of them, guilty as charged after watching Aroldis Chapman throw the ball as a starter when he defected from Cuba and signed with Cincinnati. That was a game plan. Yeah, they were gunning for a divisional championship in 2010. They brought him to the big leagues, put him in the bullpen. Then last year he wound up in the bullpen all year long, and they decided this winter he's going in the rotation. He was arguably the best starting pitcher of any team in Major League Baseball during the month of March. But because of injuries, they were forced to put him back into the bullpen. Now he's a closer.
And
but you were talking to Dusty Baker about, the 9th inning a lot of times you felt were easier to pitch than the 7th or the 8th inning.
Absolutely. In the 7th and 8th inning, you have to make quality pitches because the hitters have a net. They've got the hitters in the 9th inning coming up after them, so they can take pitches, work counts. Well, you get hitters up there in the 9th inning, the pressure's not on me as the closer. I've already got the lead. The pressure's on the hitter. So you throw strike one, you can expand the zone and get them to chase. That and understanding the egos of hitters, they all want to read their name in the headlines the next day. They will hit a 2-run walk-off homer to win it. So they're all up there and they'll swing at pitches they wouldn't normally swing at. Right now, Rogers has got to get the ball back down in the strike zone. Understand that his team is not out of this game. They're just 3 runs down.
Two to Votto.
I would be willing to bet a lot right here that this is fixing to be a breaking ball.
Votto struck out his first time up, and he has hit 2 missiles since. Double to right center, double down the right field line, scored a run.
Yeah,
that's breaking ball.
Breaking ball. And that's what good hitters do. Spoil good pitches. Look at Joe. He's smiling. He knew that pitch was coming.
Now, do you come back and do it again?
Yes. If I'm Rogers, I come back and do it again. But I'm going to try and backdoor it and get Votto to quit on it. He's coming back with it again. Get outside. I move the catcher on the outer third. He went. Oh, they didn't even ask? Wow.
Well, they got one earlier where you and I, neither one of us thought Votto went around, and they rung him up.
Oh, he didn't go.
All right, so now you try to get him a chase on 2 in a row.
If
you run the count full, what are you thinking now?
If you're going to throw it 2-2, you better be willing to throw it 3-2.
Matt Reynolds beginning to throw in the Colorado bullpen. Reds lead 6-3. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Leadoff man aboard, Drew Stubbs. Pretty safe bet he's running on a 3-2 pitch. Back-to-back walks to start the inning. And here comes Bob Apodaca. I'm not sure there is a pitching coach in Major League Baseball, when you consider where they play 81 games a year, that visits the mound more than Bob Apodaca.
Oh, he's logged some miles from the dugout to the mound.
They've already had 2 9-game homestands through the first month and a half in Denver this year. Now, for a fan, that's great. If you're a player, get to hang with your family on the home front, that's great. But boy, when you play 9 games in a row at Coors Field or Old Mile High Stadium,
yeah,
if your starters are not doing anything for you, you are putting your bullpen in a world of hurt for maybe a month or a month and a half.
Yeah.
Only the Mets have used their bullpen with more frequency this year in terms of games than the Rockies. Reds with a chance here to kick the door down. Leading by 3. They have 2 on with nobody out.
And that right there, that's just good old rear back and throw it downhill. 96.
back and fired again, and he gets ahead of Phillips at 0-2.
I'll tell you what, the defensive placement of the Tulowitzki and the second baseman Scudero right here is odd to me. You got Rogers throwing 96. Phillips is late. And you have your second baseman moved almost clear over next to the second base bag. That makes no sense to me. That hole on the right side is wide open. I think Dusty Baker has taught Drew Stubbs enough to know that you're not going to make the first out at third base being thrown out stealing. So what? There's no reason for that second baseman to be over there covering so close.
Two on Brandon Phillips, 2 on and nobody out. Good breaking ball there, and somehow Phillips got a piece of it. Reds have had the leadoff man aboard in 5 of their 7 at-bats tonight. 3 of them have scored. Stubbs a walk to start the inning. Same story for Votto behind him.
Well, here is where, if I'm Rogers, I'm elevating the fastball middle of the plate up and making Phillips chase.
That's what he did. And he got a piece of it.
Yeah, I'm going a notch higher. If he'll chase that, he'll chase one higher.
Both runners are going to advance on the wild pitch. So now 2 stand in scoring position.
We're going to see right here. This is just overthrowing a breaking ball. That ball almost hitting the grass. There's not a whole lot a catcher can do to keep that ball in front of him.
One of the keys to the game we talked about, how would the Reds fare? Coming into the game tonight, they were batting .197 as a team with runners in scoring position. Far better than that number tonight. 5 out of 14. Infield in. So you want that a little bit higher there.
It's got to be, yeah. Your target when you want to elevate your fastball should be the top of the catcher's mask right in the middle of the plate or the umpire's mask. You want that ball neck high on Phillips, right down the middle.
8th pitch of this at bat to Brandon Phillips, infield in for Colorado. Started 2, they appealed, no. Phillips was rung up earlier in the game.
Yeah.
By Jerry Meals down at first.
We'll see if he held up this time. Yeah, he did. He held that one up.
Real good battle right here.
Well, the thing Rogers has to understand also now, you're in a 2-2 count. They pulled the infield in. Going up in the zone, is counterproductive to what you're doing with your defense. Because up in the zone is going to promote a fly ball, which you don't want. So now he's got to go down and trust that he can get his fastball by him down.
10th pitch of the at-bat fouled away. There will be an 11th. Field, a base hit. What an at-bat by Brandon Phillips.
That's just battling right there.
11 pitches to knock in a run. All right, let's check in to Matt Vasgersian from the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Tommy, more good news still for Reds fans. It's over in St. Louis. Kyle Kendrick, complete game shutout. St. Louis has now lost 11 of 16. Kendrick's ERA over the last 5 starts, 1.63. The forgotten arm in that staff of aces. Back to you guys in Cincinnati.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. That's going to be all for Rogers, and they're going to bring on the southpaw Reynolds. Will step out as well. Reds with a 4-run lead. Matt Reynolds comes on from the Colorado bullpen. He's been mighty stingy over his last 6 outings. Left-handed batters only 3 for their last 16 against him.
Comes in, throws a first pitch breaking ball to a struggling Jay Bruce, and that's not what Jay wants to see.
Reynolds 3 wins out of their bullpen tonight. Or so far this year. Pitching out of their bullpen. Good fastball there in the outside corner, and he's ahead 1-2.
See, and this is the thing. This is the kind of at bat right here for Jay Bruce that can either get him going or dig him deeper in his funk. Because if he can stay in there on a left-hander and get a base hit on a breaking ball or something off a left-hander, it starts to give you a little confidence.
Two and 2 to Bruce. He had a pitch to hit right there and fouled it back.
I think that fastball was a show-me fastball. I will be shocked if he gets another fastball in this at bat. Well, he did.
All right, now 3-2 to Jay Bruce, who got his first hit in 15 at bats to knock in a run back in the third inning. High fly ball. Plenty deep enough to bring in a run. Kadire will make the catch. Throw's going to go to the plate. Here comes Votto, and I'll be doggone. How about that throw by Kadire?
Baseball player, Tom.
Wow. That's as good as it gets right there.
That Spalding guidebook on how you get behind the ball. Look at him get behind the ball, so he's moving forward, and then throws a perfect strike to the plate. Great job right there.
What a great play by Kadire.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Nieves almost made the mistake of going out too far to get that ball. He's got to sit back at that plate and let the ball come to him.
And if you're Jay Bruce, here you are trying to do something, anything to feel better about yourself. You talked about having a good at bat against a left-hander. He worked it to a full count. Hits a fly ball that under normal situations it's going to be a run.
Yeah.
And then your guy gets thrown out of the plate.
Michael Kadire ain't known for having like a cannon in the outfield, but on that play right there, he did everything fundamentally right.
So they're 2 away in the inning on that fly ball double play. And here's Heisey, 2 out of 3 in the game, at a big 3-run home run to left field in the first inning. And it broke a 1-1 tie.
And last time up, tried to bunt with 2 guys on and 1 out, which I'm sure Dusty is not going to let him hear the end of for a while.
Started 2, they appeal. He did not go around. 2-0 on Chris Heisey, another native Pennsylvanian. Well, we've had them all over the field here tonight. Talked to Jamie Moyer, Devin Mesoraco, Chris Heisey.
A bunch of guys that probably played 12 games a year in high school because of weather.
That's the one thing that, you know, here in this city, 2 years ago, there was a story in the USA Today, per capita now. So there's a big difference as far as just total numbers as opposed to per capita. But as recently as 3 years ago, the city of Cincinnati was second only to Tampa, Florida, for the most major league players out of their city per capita.
Wow.
That's hard to believe. I mean, you start looking around and fielding an all-star team of players that grew up in this area. And you start with guys like Barry Larkin, Pete Rose, Ken Griffey Jr., Buddy Bell, I mean, David Justice. I mean, there are a lot of players. Your old manager, Don Zimmer, your old general manager, your good buddy Jim Fry.
Yeah.
Dave Parker, how good was he?
Great. And I just saw Cobra the other day at a golf tournament. He looks really good.
Walk in the inning, and well, this July, speaking of stars, the biggest event of the summer. They'll battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series really begins with a 2012 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Ryan Ludwig will come up and bat for the pitcher Sam LeCure, who gives him 2 innings out of the bullpen and only allows 1 base runner. That was a walk. No hits, no runs.
And you look at that all-star the pictures there. Josh Hamilton hits a walk-off 2-run homer today, 3 more RBIs today, so he's got 20 homers and 53 RBIs, and we're in May.
He's making a serious challenge on multiple major league records only 2 months in. Of course, the one that is stood the longest test of time would be Hack Wilson's record of 190 runs batted in a major league season.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that record will ever be broken.
1-1 on Ludwig. I'm with you on that.
I think pitchers will stop pitching to guys like that. They just won't allow those guys to beat them.
Of course, who in that Texas lineup do you want to face?
Yeah, I mean, from 1 to 9, when your 9-hole hitter is Mitch Moreland, and he has the kind of power he's got.
1-1 the count on Ludwig. There's a blast into left center field, and the Reds have kicked in the door. Home run number 5 for Ryan Ludwig.
You got 2 strikes on the guy. The catcher wants this ball down and away, and look at where it is. Up middle.
In the air off the bat of Mesoraco, and in foul ground it'll be Helton. But the Reds explode for 4 more. We go to the 8th. It's 10-3 Cincinnati.
Front page driving news, working on a 9 move.
Colorado. Well, now it's time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stack. Talked about them coming in. This Reds bullpen. The Reds can count on their bullpen, and you can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Talked about the numbers coming in and how impressive this group has been. And tonight, 3 1/3 innings. No hit, no run baseball. And now Logan Andrusik. Was really one of the big guns in that bullpen to go along with Marshall and closer Aroldis Chapman.
He's a big guy, tall, and does what I like. Creates angles, throws the ball downhill. You look at his stats this year: 3-1 with a 2.75 ERA.
You know, Mitch, he's a prime example of something you touched on earlier. When you're a reliever, you can have one bad game, and all of a sudden it's going to take you 2 months to bring down that earned run average. For Logan Andrusik, he went his first 12 games of the year and didn't give up a single run. Then he gave up 5 in 1 inning against the New York Mets.
And that'll do it.
And it blows it up to 275.
Yeah. It only takes one bad day. And the worst time for it to happen is when the game is out of hand or something. And that's when it happens a lot to relievers, especially closers. People claim that it's an adrenaline thing. It's not an adrenaline thing. I can honestly say I didn't ever go to the mound without adrenaline. You put a guy with a bat in front of me that's swinging it, I had adrenaline. It's the hitters relax. They've got nothing to lose. So they start keyholing you, and they're going to sit there and they'll either strike out looking or wait for a pitch right where they're looking for it, and you end up getting hurt.
Three and two on Kadire, who is 0 for 2, reached on an error in the 3rd inning and drew a walk in the 5th. There's a rare walk for Andrusik. It comes with 1 out here in the 8th inning. As you look ahead, Mitch, to the National League Central, you know, a lot of people felt when the year began it would be really the 3 teams that for the last 2 years have been the major players inside the division. St. Louis has been there a long, long time. But the last 2 years, it's been Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and St. Louis. Those are the 3 teams that have been the bona fide contenders. And most felt like that would be the tale this year. Now, Milwaukee is 7 games under 500. But they're only 6 back. Could be 7 by the end of tonight.
See, I just don't think that there's another team in the division other than St. Louis that can compete with the Reds. I don't think that Milwaukee has the offense to do it. Their pitching staff, I don't believe, is anywhere near as deep as the Reds or St. Louis. The team, like I said, the team that's shocking me the most is Houston right now. And I'm thinking, as Brett Myers is their closer, that come the trade deadline, they're going to be looking to send him somewhere like Anaheim, to the Angels out there in Los Angeles. But they're 3 games out. So if you're 3 or 4 games out of first place at the All-Star break, you're not going to start fire sailing people. That wouldn't be fair to your fan base.
Well, right here on Fox next weekend, we're going to see those Houston Astros play the Cincinnati Reds on Baseball Night in America. So that could be an interesting series if Houston can continue to win some games and play well. Astros already out to a 1-0 lead over the Dodgers and still batting in the 1st inning tonight.
And this is where Andrusik needs to just, all right, it's a round ball, it's a round bat. I'm going at you. I'm not going to walk any more people. You got a 7-run lead.
Now, Dusty Baker told us before the game today, he said this guy Logan Ondrusek is at his best when he gets enough rest. And they used him a ton last year in his rookie year. Pitched 2 games in a series, the 4-game sweep against Atlanta. So it's the 3rd time he's been used in the last 5 days.
Yeah, I saw him close the other day. There's a double play.
And there's a 3rd one of the night turned by the Reds defense. Cincinnati bats for what it hopes will be its final time, leading 10-3. Auto stop. It's foolproof. Gray is over. And by Dodge, visit your local Dodge dealer today. Many of the folks, big crowd here tonight, filing out of the ballpark after the Reds score 4 times in the 7th inning to take a 10-3 lead. And they'll bat here in the bottom half of the 8th. DJ LeMahieu takes over at short for Troy Tulowitzki. And Eric Young Jr. now plays in center. Still Matt Reynolds on the mound. High fly ball in the short center. 1 out. Well, the MLB Fan Cave is back. Some of the entertainments and baseball's biggest stars scheduled to visit and appear in the Fan Cave videos. Check out all the latest happenings at MLBFanCave.com. George Brett hanging around. How about that? Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce. When the Reds were in town, there's Drew Stubbs. Have you ever been down there?
Yes, I've been there a few times.
How you like it?
It's a cool joint. I mean, there's the people that spend all their time in there, they're cave dwellers. But it's a cool joint the way they've set that place up.
So you don't think you could do that? Hang out there all the time? Like, I mean, they get to leave, right? I mean, they get to go out and walk around and
oh yeah,
the whole 9 yards. But,
yeah.
I mean, do you think you could hang out there and watch baseball for an entire year? Season?
No. I don't think I could do that, to be honest. Not every game. I mean, I watch a ton of baseball now working at the network.
Right.
But they're sitting in front of the couch watching it every minute it's on as we watch them fly out to right.
So there are 2 away in the inning, and now it's Drew Stubbs, who is 1 for 3, has walked and scored a run. Well, we have a game on Fox. I don't know if you and I are slated to work together on that one when the Reds are playing the Mets. 3rd or 4th week of June, I think, not knowing it off the top of my head, but I know that's a game on Fox, a primetime game. I'm going to have to get over there and check that place out.
Yeah, you need to. It's like I said, they've done it up nice. They really have. They put more upgrades in it again this year.
Do they sleep there?
You know, that I can't answer. I don't think they do.
All right. Okay.
I think there might be sleeping facilities somewhere in there, but I'm not sure if they do or not.
But they're hanging around till late at night. They're watching games, and then they go home, and then they come back the next night.
Yep, they got huge banks of TVs with big sectional couches, and they got everything in there.
2-1 to Stubbs.
I don't think he has thrown Stubbs. Well, that might be the first strike that Reynolds has thrown Stubbs. I think he walked him on 4 straight pitches as well. Oh, no, it's the 2nd straight. Excuse me.
3-2 the count. And looked like he went, and he did. So it's a 1-2-3 8th inning. Colorado will bat in the 9th. Trailing 10-3. Fox Baseball Night in America is presented by Chevrolet. While the crowd is filed out of here, top half of the 9th inning, and the hometown Reds with a 10-3 lead over the Colorado Rockies. Willeen Rosario, who was a starting catcher here last night, bats for the first time against a new Reds pitcher. Left-hander Sean Marshall. He was the closer, but no longer. And he saved 8 out of 9.
Did a great job, too. But in talking to Dusty before the game, give me the guy that can overpower and dominate.
Time to take a look at our Burger King smooth play of the game. It was a 1-1 game with 2 on and 2 out in the Reds' first inning, and smooth swing by Chris Heisey. And that ball finds the seats in left to make it 4-1, and the Reds have never looked back. Producer of our game tonight is Carol Langley, our director Mitch Riggin, our associate director Chirag Devaskar, and our broadcast associate is Gilbert Zepeda. Our technical producer Matt Benedict. Pre-game show coming out of our Major League Baseball studios. Thank Jacob Garza, Scott Snyder, our statisticians up here in the booth, as well as Jesse Jackson and a cast of hundreds.
Our producer Carol with another flawless effort tonight.
Without a doubt, she is saddled with us.
It is not easy to make us look and sound good. Well, me anyway.
Well, that makes 2 of us. Sign me up. I know you and I will be together again at Fenway Park later this summer.
Oh, good.
For Atlanta and the Boston Red Sox. There's a ground ball foul off the bat of Scudero. What do you think of that Boston situation? I mean, you're watching that every night unfold. You know, those of us who do local baseball night in and night out. Well, what do you think of that mess?
You know what, Tommy, I played for Bobby Valentine. I know how he is. I know the kind of storms that can be created on teams that he's involved with. Some of it may be him, some of it may be the players, but they need to get that all straightened out. Because that town lives for the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
And if they don't straighten it out and they start to get a rebellion up there in that town, it's not going to be pretty.
Well, they had a dramatic come-from-behind win tonight. They were down to Tampa Bay 2-1 and rallied to win it late. 3-2 the final there. Crowd wanted the call. It's 3-2 on Scudero.
A really good backdoor breaking ball right there.
Cardinals have already lost their game, shut out by Kyle Kendrick and the Philadelphia Phillies. That's 3 straight wins for the Phillies in St. Louis. So if Marshall can close this out, Dusty Baker's team has a game and a half advantage over the Cardinals. Scudero making it tough.
You start looking at that Phillies team. They win 6 in a row, lose 3 in a row, win 3 in a row, and Cliff Lee doesn't have a win yet. Kyle Kendrick throws a shutout tonight, and poor Cliff still doesn't have a W.
Fastball, and that's his second out here in the ninth. Boy, this Cincinnati bullpen, and we talked about them early on.
They're good, Tommy.
They are really good. And we have not seen Chapman tonight. They're still without Nick Masson and Bill Bray. They hope to have both of those guys back in the not-too-distant future. We did not see that man on the right, Aroldis Chapman, their closer tonight. But my, oh my. Lowest opponent's batting average against, most strikeouts. Only the Pirates fractionally have a better ERA than Dusty Baker's bullpen. And boy, on a night where your starter goes 3 2/3 Your bullpen has given up 1 hit.
Well, and that, for a manager, Dusty's got to love this because it turns his game every night. It's a 6-inning ball game.
On the ground to Votto, and the Reds have evened a series. So our final score here in Cincinnati, the Reds 10 and the Colorado Rockies 3. J.J. Hoover gets his first major league win. Jeremy Guthrie suffers a loss. So for Mitch Williams, Tom Brenneman, so long from Cincinnati. After this break, Matt Vasgersian will pick it up and carry it home from the MLB Network.